Thank you again for inviting me, Mr. Minister, Mr. Secretary, and every one of you. Since we took office in 2019, we continue to invest heavily in the education sector because of our firm view. Education is our children's right. No child really should be left behind, and all the interventions we've been making are geared towards really empowering the next generation to get up, get going, be skilled, be living in Papua New Guinea, where they become good contributors as citizens of our country. And so interventions in the education sector is really geared towards making the next generation Papua New Guineans better. When they're better, our country is better. Today we live in a nation of so much insecurity. Insecurity because lack of employment, insecurity because our citizens are unskilled or are not fully complete in their own faculties in the mind as far as human development is concerned. The resort to lawlessness, the resort to urban migration. Many of the weak, lawful living in our country is a result of half-educated, unskilled Papua New Guineans who do not know their place in our society. And so let me from the upfront impress on all our minds, if you know it and it further entrenches your own worldview, but you must know you have a greater role. For every person who are working in the education department, the future of our country is really in your hands. From the minister or from myself, minister, secretary, down through everyone, including our teachers in all corners of our country. The future of our country is in our hands. Hands up those of you who woke up at 4 o'clock this morning to watch the game. Now, hands up, I really want to see hands up those who watch the game this morning. All right, there's fair go. Some minority have not, but majority woke this morning to watch the game. Were you super excited when Kumals won? Yes. You were cheering, you were happy? Yes. You had a sense of patriotism and nationalism and pride to see your flag and your national anthem sung, your flag, your color, your players playing. And finally, when the final whistle went off, they were the winners in this game. You know, my friends, you are sitting in a play that is far more bigger than the Kumals game this morning. You're sitting in a game a play that is far more bigger. Your contribution to our society is far bigger than the Kumals play today, because you shape the next generation. You create the next moment of nationalism, pride, contribution, better society, better country. You look at me standing here, my history, if I were to go through them, you would be quite amazed from where I come from to be here. When I started off as a grade 1 student of Oksapmin, primary school on a board. You know, in those days we write on the board with chalk. Hands up, those you know, you write on the board with chalk. We wrote on the board with chalk, and my board was so smooth that it cannot write, and the teacher had to drag my ears out, not knowing that he was dragging the ear of someone who will be prime minister. He did his job, thank God, because he made me grounded and disciplined right from day one. You know, education creates a pathway for progress of our citizens. The citizens today, the child we have today are citizens, and they are the contributors of tomorrow. You and me have a far bigger game than the Kumals game this morning. Our game is national transformation. And we have to find a space from the highest in myself down to each and every one of us in the strata of our education system to ensure we are dispensing our duties with due care to make it better. That is why our government continues to invest substantially. I give you all headline figures. 632 million this year. What does that mean? Effectively, parents out there, you aren't contributing that 632 million kina that could have come into the education system. You are retaining that in your pockets. Now, when you talk about the economy, that's people keeping back 632 million, government putting out 632 million. parents and citizens returning 632 million. On top of this, in tough times, knowing that the cost of imported inflation due to the Ukraine war and the other hardships that we're going through, this year we put in another 160 million kina, eliminating the project fee away from our parents and citizens. So all in all, to the lower education from elementary to secondary interventions this year is at 792 million kina. That's money retained by our people. You know, many commentators will run off in the media and social media as if they know best to run the country. But in tough times, government make interventions for our people. So that key essential services, none more important than service like health, because it is really the next generation and not the next election we are focused about. And so for us to make intervention in the lower education sector for this year, 792 million kina, it really calls for a couple of things. Parents, citizens, the sector, and all of us to be working in total cognition to ensure efficiency in the delivery of education to whatever quality that we expose with is given to our citizens, because it creates the next generation. And I was alluding to my own story. Grade 1, Oksapmin, Grade 2, Oksapmin, Grade 3, Kandep, Grade 4, rural Marawaka, Grade 5 and 6 at Mins, Grade 7 and 8 at a school called Paglumet at Mulbaya, Grade 9, 10, 11, 12 at Kabifa. Now, when I left Grade 12, I was fully equipped to know basic carpentry, basic farming, basic business. I knew about storekeeping. I knew about doing my own business after Grade 12 at Kabifa. I came out as a holistic 18-year-old into society after Grade 12. That's the type of space we're looking for as our education sector, work to impact the next generation and not just passing time, sending out school leavers at Grade 10 and at Grade 12 who don't end up becoming assets, but can end up becoming liabilities to our country and to our economy. You are important. I am here myself at the invitation of your minister to impact on you in the key leadership roles at the FinCom office, right down to our school administration represented by schools here, that your job, your role, your contribution to ensuring government visions and government policy materializes is important, because together therein we shape the next generation of our country. And today I am happy, as I spoke and addressed our country at the inaugural statement after being re-elected, I made a couple of punch statements. Our focus on bringing back all kids to school must remain, and hence the use of food for those who have left Grade 8, Grade 10, Grade 12. Today as I speak to you, 188 school dropouts from our own district, from Pori and Tari, are sitting, including grandmothers and including mothers. For me, this, in my view, biggest, if someone asks me what is the biggest intervention, and we're building buildings, and our roads, our places are being sealed, and electricity is going on as we speak. But educating person, for me, is the biggest contributor. I went home last week. I saw a Grade 10 dropout of 1987. In fact, I did Grade 10 in 1987, so she's my peer. She was in the village all this time until food arrived in Pori. Today, she's sitting Grade 12 food examination. And some people are questioning me, well, where's continual education for her, or where's job for her? That is where your mind is small. Education is not about job. Education is about impacting positively into that person. Basic 12 years of education gives us an opportunity as a nation in our system of education to embrace a child that is being weaned as a young child, 5 years old, 6 years old, into our system. By the time the child comes out at 18, he or she knows his own ability and knows his own presence in his own country to contribute meaningfully in life after Grade 12. Our focus of our education remains that every child in our country must be educated to Grade 12. We have in some way, when I was Education Minister 10 years ago, we launched the UBS, the Universal Basic Education. We defined the standard at Year 8. Well, we now reclassify. Every Papua New Guinean must be educated to year 12. Every Papua New Guinean must be educated to year 12. In the absence of classroom space, utilize in a big way the fold system. Utilize in a big way the fold system. And once we bring every kid back into class, next year when we do our full census, we will take stock of every population we have in our country, and hopefully together in partnership with our districts, with our provincial governments, we can then inform them. You take care of the primary school sector, for instance, in the educational interventions in the districts, because they're receiving money straight. Every year we also allocating money to the districts. Districts, you can take care of the infrastructure at the primary school level. Provinces, you take care of the infrastructure at the high school level and the TVET, in the provincial TVET programs and the food programs. And then you could have national government making interventions in what we want to do. I just came from a meeting with ADB. We have a program with ADB now. We want to build 20,000 new spaces for post-grade learning in our country, giving space to additional kids in our country. And so we all, and I appeal at this juncture, I appeal to the districts, our provinces, and to us in the education sector. Let's give a concerted effort to ensuring that every child in our country, between the bracket group of 16, 17, 18, right up to 30, 35, who are out there who've left school, want to come back, fold is picked in a big way. And for those who are still progressing through our formal school system, wherever our districts and provinces are, we appeal to them to ensure they expand the spaces as we try our very best to have 100% of every child born into a country with a school placement as they enter or progress through life as school-aged children. I know 2027 may be aggressive to you, maybe a day too sooner to you to ensure everyone is at a grade 12 level. But leadership sets the vision and sets the benchmark. And as we set the benchmark, we try our very best to ensure we put in the resource envelope to match our target. Your job in the sector is to make sure it is worked upon. And we have our targets are clearly set out. We focus on space, our focus on quality aspects, our focus on expanding our schools is really set already. I want you all in this department to get on with the business of working. And our country has evidence that government do support the education sector in a big way. If I go back retrospectively, since 2012, we have given over 6.2 billion kina. My glasses, my eyesight are failing me, but it is 6.2 billion kina we've given over the last 10 years. 634 million kina 2012, 652 million kina 2013, 605 million kina 2014, 605 million kina 2015, 602 million kina 2016, 522 million kina 2017, 602 million kina 2018, 529.6 million kina 2020. We went partial in 33% in 2020. We had a 338.5 million kina given. 2021, 484.3 million kina. And of course, 2022, hard times, tough times, government is picking up on 100% support. That's 632 million kina. Today's program is a program that sees us giving the last tranche of this year's school fee, and I just announced already the additional 160 million kina for the project fee that we are covering. All this is in the interest to ensure all our kids are in school. Now let me bring our conversation to a conclusion. If government is spending in this manner, what is the role of parents and citizens? What is the role of parents and citizens? It is unfair on lazy parents and citizens to cruise through life expecting that government will carry the load. Did the government tell you to have conception for the child? No. You fulfilled the mandate that was passed to Eve and Adam for conception in your own choice. Citizens of our country must be responsible and not expecting government to carry the load all the time. I make this comment at this juncture. If today, this year, in hard times, we're not only paying the total 792 million kina, covering, including the project fee, but when you look at our help to hackers, techers, testers and hackers in the tertiary space, as well as the higher education loan program that is, by the way, interest-free, not compulsory to repayment in the 3 or 4 years, but the Papua New Guinean child and adult, he live through adulthood, to repay for the rest of his life, which is advancing the 10,000, 5,000, or the 20,000 they need for the 4-year degree program if they're not in the hackers and testers bracket. Because, you know, I don't know about you, but even as Prime Minister, my salary cannot afford to pay 20,000 kina to one school fee. So government is putting this facility to assist ordinary Papua New Guineans get by in life. So when you look at it in totality, we've come since 2019 with a holistic package to assist parents get by in as far as the children's need is concerned. So I appeal firstly to our parents. If government is coming in a big way to support school fee from elementary all the way to universities and colleges, and other work we're doing in the quality intervention as well as the space intervention in terms of our focus to train more teachers with the right skill and right quality, what is the role of you parents in society? Simple things. Don't go and fight and challenge the school administrations. Allow school administrations to be run by the education department. You support the schools wherever you are. Security, giving resources to the school. Kept coming out, working for the school, cleaning the school. When some of us were growing up, we had parents and citizens coming out to help the school, clean the school, build the school. Today we have lazy Papua New Guineans expecting government and someone else to do the job except themselves. They're just procreating and not trying to make interventions. I appeal to every Papua New Guineans. I am not an easy pleasing politician to tell you we're going to do everything. Wherever you are in this country, if you care for your country, if you celebrate the Kumus this morning, if you want your country to get better, and if government is paying 100% of school fee, including your project fee, your business is to support your school wherever it is. Support your teacher wherever it is. If a person like me coming from the rural outback, you know who knows Oksapmin? Oksapmin, the Federest of the Federest. And by God's grace, we're now building road into that district. And it's happening now, and road access to telephone will happen for the first time since 46 years. Connect PNGs at work in those rural areas. Who would have thought a rural outback kid progressing to the rural areas of our country would grow up today to be Prime Minister, meeting world leaders, speaking English, conversing with them at their levels. All because, and someone asked me once when I was in the University of Goroka in 2009, drawing, hands up those of you who were there, I was drawing those pyramids and the chart linking back through Ford and Tibet back into the mainstream. Dr. Conrad, you were there, you were students. Some of you were there up there, I think you in this moment. And one of our key presenters from UK, she asked me, Mr. Minister, where did you do your postgraduate? Someone tells me at New Zealand. I looked at her and said, I am a proud alumni of my country's education system. Primary to university, homemade, Papua New Guinean made alumni. Papua New Guinea Public School Primary, Papua New Guinea Public School, church-run school, high school, Papua New Guinea Public School, University. I am a PNG alumni. The English I speak, taught by Papua New Guineans. The words I use, Papua New Guineans. I am a Papua New Guinean education system product. So our system is not bad, but we can improve upon. And so I go back, I call upon parents. A couple of combinations that made me who I am. My parents were disciplined. My parents put education as number one focus. They shepherded me every step of the way through the education process. Example, there was one time I was doing grade 10. And I wanted to go to Goroka Technical College. My dad had to come and break me out of Goroka Technical College to go back to Kadifa. Said, you do grade 11 and 12, not technical college. Otherwise I would be a mechanic somewhere. I was trying to go and be a mechanic. Of course, just to work quickly and get through life. But so parents, your role in your children is very important. Government in your talk, Karen, you Karen picking. Now that government and paying school fee below you look at them school below you, and look at them picking below you. And task below you. You look at them picking below you, and look at them school below you. Banish him school good, banish him teacher good. Protect him school na teacher, na picking in. If Papa and parents can make him this law, work for Mibla government. Mibla na sotin lo paying school fee. I commit to paying school fee and making intervention in the education system in a big way going forward, because I know that this calling is much higher than Kumu playing rugby. Because it can transform the next generation and not just focus on today's satisfaction. And so I ask parents and citizens again, take care of your school, the physical environment, take care of your teachers, and take care of your children. Give them the additional lunch money. Try to look for and make sure they eat the good food in the morning before they go to school. And mind you, talk about good food. I'm not talking about chicken and ox and palm. Some of us ate cow all the way until we're here. Make sure that 3 meals or 2 meals are given to your children. Parents, if you do the foundation right, next layer teachers, if you then come in and do your job correctly at your posts in your classrooms, then we at the national level, at the provincial level and national level will try our very best. And together we can create the next generation a better country. I look forward to working with the education sector more into the future, so that we prepare a better Papua New Guinea and not the Papua New Guinea we are presently living in. Thank you very much. God bless. The support to the education sector will remain and will grow going forward. We will work on a percentage of allocation to the education sector that is consistent to the way we are allocating to the health sector and the Connect PNG or the infrastructure sector, so that you have security of development fund and recurrent fund coming to the sector, and you then can map out how we develop holistic, quality education for all going forward, and the next generation when we retire, we're retiring to a productive Papua New Guinea. Thank you very much. God bless.